Silence! It's time! It's time! It's
time for another episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 354 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler. Man, I'll tell you what, man. It's like I feel like a buckshot to the wind. Well, what that means is like I have gone through a somewhat good week at both work and also like at home and stuff. I mean, I've been playing some games here and there and stuff, and man, I can't wait to be talking about games again because I got a lot to cover. But other than that, though, I mean, I'm actually doing fairly well. I started trying to get a little bit more onto services like, say, Discord and Reddit because I really haven't experienced like a lot of those formats or those platforms yet. I mean, I'm so used to Facebook and Twitter that I'm kind of like sick of Facebook and Twitter. So it's like I have that sort of thing where it's like Facebook is where I have my family and friends and stuff like that I keep in contact with, but Twitter's more or less becomes sort of like a news hub for me, and also I kind of want to avoid a lot of the cesspool drama that is constantly on there daily. Yeah. So by going onto a place like, say, Discord, I could actually organize some bits of, say, if I want to play with a group of friends or something like that, and like Reddit reminds me so much of the old forums that you would go to on like like online back in the mid 2000s, where you would just go through, see a couple shit posting things, and all of a sudden you just go through, share your own memes and experiences. I kind of like it. Yeah. It's really quiet, really quaint, and I don't really have to read a bunch of garbage if I don't want to.
Yeah. No, I love Reddit. Reddit's a really cool place. And like, yeah, it's kind of I like, because like I think I've probably said this in the past, but it's like, so I made a really good point about like Facebook, where like Facebook's the place where you go for like the people you know in real life you wish you didn't know, and Twitter's the place you go to where you wish to talk to the people that you wish you knew in real life. Yep. Like, and like Reddit's kind of the same thing, where it's like it's just forums. You only see really what you want to see, and yeah, like I'm like, honestly, if it wasn't for talking shit, being on Facebook, the group, I wouldn't even like care about Facebook at all. Like that's literally the only reason I go on there, is and the memes are pretty funny, but yeah, like I've actually like unfollowed like 90% of my friends on there because I just don't care. Like my close family and friends and stuff like that, I don't. But like the people like extended family or people that sent me friend requests because I went to high school with them, even though we didn't like each other or know each other really in high school, but now for some reason we're Facebook friends. I don't know. Like I just like I don't care. Like if you know me, I just don't follow you. So gosh. So it's like my Facebook is literally just like close family and friends talking shit memes. That's all I go on there for.
Oh, and I know.
So it's like I wish we can just get talking shit over to Reddit, and I just get rid of Facebook. I just wouldn't go on it. And like
I hear you.
Yeah, like Twitter. I love Twitter because like Courtney will get mad at me sometimes. Like not really get mad at me, but she's like, why do you go on Twitter so much? And I'm like, because like when you're bored, people go on Facebook, shit like that. It's like I go on Twitter, and that's my thing. I like to go on Twitter. I like to scroll through there. It's like well, I go on here because it's like this is really where I get a lot of my news from and read on what's going on for like I told like 95% of my Twitter it's wrestling, it's football, it's video game stuff, and then there's just like jokes and shit. Like that's what I go on Twitter for. And I after like the 2016 election and shit, like I got really deep into like the negativity of all that shit, and I was just like, I'm not happy. Like legitimately, like social media was like making me really unhappy. So it's just like this is like an out, like a thing to go to for like it's like kind of a way to get out. Like you're supposed to kind of like video games. There's like where it kind of makes its escapism a little bit, but it's like I don't know. Like I feel like especially like Facebook, like I don't get the escapism as I do like on like Twitter and shit. So it's like I totally like redid my entire like Twitter and Facebook. That's when I started like unfollowing a lot of people that were just like that just weren't like people, if like, my thing has always been like, I hate drama. Like there's the thing I hate most in life is drama. Like I don't want drama. If you only like to me, it's like if you're just bringing me drama in life, you're not bringing me anything positive. Like I just cut you out. That's just what my life has always been. And it's like I don't hold grudges. I don't hold anything like that. It's just like I just gonna cut you off. And yeah, so it's like that's kind of where I did it with my social media. It was like, well, I'm not gonna follow you. I'm not gonna unfriend you because that's just gonna create drama. So I'm just gonna follow you. So we're still friends, and you have no idea that I haven't seen you fucking post for 4 fucking years or longer. You know, so yeah, I don't know why we got to that, but yeah, no, I agree. That's like I love going. Like I have Reddit. I don't go in there a lot. I go in there every now and again though. And there's like a few. Like it's mostly like it's kind of the same thing. It's like things I'm interested in. You just go into those forums or shit like that, or like things that you find funny. Like that's
exactly the point. And that's why I used to go onto forums, say like Sarcastic Gamer and like freaking God, like the IGN boards back in the day, and like everything else, where it's like I would look up for topics and stuff and games and whatever in the communities, but I really just go up there because I love to see a lot of the inner like jokes and stuff like that and shit posting and stuff that you get away with.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
it's
can
great.
actually get a lot. You can actually get away with a lot instead of like Reddit. It's so like it feels so much more like open ended with what you can do in that place. Yeah, it's a blast. Like Courtney seen me go on there feeling, what the fuck is Reddit? And I'm like, I don't really never explain it because she don't really know what forums are. Like she's not a nerd, so like really I think only like nerds knew what forums are. You know what I mean? So yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, it's like forums, you know. And she's like, what are forums? I'm like, I don't know how to explain this to any more basic than that. I don't know what the words are. It's a chat room, I guess. I don't fucking know. So but no, it's great. I'm happy you're doing that because I love doing that. Like honestly, a big thing that helped me was like I just took my Facebook app on my phone because I still have it on there. I still like I'll check my notifications and go and talk shit like a couple times a day, and like post like maybe like a few times a month, but like I put it like on like the 3rd page of my phone. So it's no longer like front and center. So it's like I have Reddit and Twitter and like Instagram. Instagram's kind of the same thing. It's just like I follow people that I enjoy on the internet, like YouTubers and shit like that.
I have not. I hear you not, man. I have not been on Instagram in almost a friggin' year, and I'm kind of happy that I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, it's like I have a Snapchat, but I don't use it. I'm like
I
just created. Snapchat. Yeah, I created it like years ago, and it's like Courtney loves Snapchat. That's like her social. Like she deactivated her Facebook account. That was like her New Year's resolution. Was like she would spend hours just of her day, every day. She would spend 5-6 hours a day just looking at Facebook, scrolling through Facebook. Yeah, I'm just like, and she'd always get upset, and she'd see it like kind of the way I was, 4 years ago. But it was like just about other things. Like people like post fucked up shit on there, and she get all upset, and like she get stressed out, anxiety get bad, and it was just like I told her what I did. I'm like, you have to get rid of it. But just like if there's people on there that are like cause problems, things like that, just get rid of them, cut them off, get them out of there. You don't need them. And she went one step further and just deactivated it. Like she'll bring it back every now and again. She'll bring it, like she'll get off of it for a few weeks, and then she'll activate it again for like a day, and then she'll spend like a couple hours looking at it again, and she's just like, I can't do this, deactivates it. So yeah, she's doing really well with it. But yeah, like I told her, I'm like, just get fucking Twitter. Like it's so much cooler. Like you just follow the people that you want to follow. It's like you can like set it up. Like you have no pressure of having to like have these people on Facebook. That's what I like about Facebook. Is like I feel like you have to have like people like, hey, why didn't you accept so and so's friend request? Like I had somebody like a few weeks ago like I sent you a friend request on Facebook. I'm like, okay, like all right, I guess I'll accept it then. It's like I've had people do that to me in the past. I'm like, all right, I accepted it, immediately unfollow. Like I'm only accepting it because I had like in my last job, like I had coworkers, like I had like 10-15 coworkers on my Facebook. It's like I don't like you guys at work. I don't want you guys knowing what's on my fucking personal life. It's like the only reason I talk to you is because like I'm around you 50 hours a week. It's like
oh my god.
So it's like it's like I just like I would like make it so they can't see my posts. Or I would like unfollow them. It's like I don't give a fuck about you guys. Like no offense. Like I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I don't give a shit. Like if you told me tomorrow that today's your last day, I'm like, oh okay. I'll never see you again. Okay. Like I don't know. It's not like I'm not trying to be heartless or anything, but yeah. It's like
Oh no, but that's actually the reality of the thing, where it's like you're not going to see a lot of your coworkers or something like that. In case you see like you leave a job or if they leave or something like that, it's because sometimes and stuff, there are just some people you're meant to meet in life for like a certain time and never meet again.
Yeah, it's like I left my last job. I literally after a couple weeks, I went on one of my Facebook. Every now and again I'll go through and like just delete a bunch of people on my Facebook and shit. Like I don't have a lot now. I'm down to like 100 and something. But I was like at like 400 friends. I'm like I don't even fucking know these people. So I got down to it's like in the one like I don't know 150s or something like that now. But like I went through and I deleted all of them off. I'm like I'm never gonna see you guys again. I don't care to call you or text you. Like so I just like went through and deleted all of them. It's a weird thing where it's like you like kind of feel like a little better. It's like all right, less bullshit.
I think maybe once or twice a year I get like an actual like friend request on Facebook, but at the same time I go through I've actually locked down my back things of like posts that I've had like for a long time. I actually went through and filtered out a lot of those, and it's just for privacy reasons, right? Because I would normally get like a couple bots like here and there just try to go through and like maybe try to have me as friend request or something like that, or just try to scam me like out of money or whatever. And at the same time, I've kind of relegated like Facebook to maybe a couple things. I'll post a couple things, I'll see a couple replies or whatsoever, and there are some people who I do reply to, which Facebook kind of just kind of schedules in like, oh hey, you want to see the post from this person so much more often. I'm like, oh no, I don't care. I've already seen this post last night. I am not going to look at it or try to reply to it again. Then all of a sudden you see it for the 10th time. Okay, I am fucking just going to go ahead, thumbs up. Yeah, you did your hair, yeah. But anyway, it's like...
Yeah, there's people that like only post like that post everything about their lives, like they put everything out there.
Hey, I'm guilty where it's like I've done similar things to that shit.
Oh yeah, we've all done it. Like don't feel shame or anything. Everybody's done it, but it's just like at certain points, it's like I used to be the same way. Like when I first got on Facebook, I wouldn't post like all my personal shit. Like some people like just post every fucking thing, but it's like I would I'd post all oh I'm going to play basketball today, or I'm taking a shit, something whatever. But it's just like after a while you're just like this is like no one cares.
Now I'm kind of
I don't care when they post it. It's like
It's like I just relegated now just posting memes and all sorts of very funny shit, dude. It's like
this made me laugh. I hope it makes you laugh. That's kind of like the extent of it. Like that. Yeah.
Exactly. I love it. I just love Facebook for that.
Yeah.
Rather where it's like I don't give a shit about the drama. I just go through and I just post random funny shit on it, and it's like yeah, man, this is what I like.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's like I don't want to shit too much on Facebook, but like it does bring you some joy. Like I said, talking ship group on there, and then memes. That's like it's like I don't know. Sometimes I'll sit there and be on there. I'm like, is this even worth it? Like, I don't know.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. It's like I have not really actively gone through and kept track of talking ship. I have it on my phone. Obviously, the Facebook group and stuff. I maybe look at it occasionally.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's just the fact that I've not really been adequately listening to podcasts like I once did.
Yeah. Well, they don't make podcasts, so it's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
We get like one talking shit podcast like every 18 months.
That's the truth.
Yeah. I don't know. I love listening to podcasts.
It kind of feels like that we've kind of become the talking shit podcast.
Yes. I remember we used to joke around with them like, we're like the video game equivalent to like for talking shit. And even Nerves is like, you guys can just say that. That's fine. I'm like, oh, okay. We didn't do it, but I'm like, we could just call ourselves Talking Ships Drunk Nerds or something like that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know how we really went to a deep dive there on social media, didn't we?
Well, hey man. I mean, it's something we don't really do too often, but at the same point, it just comes for a circle, full circle.
Yeah.
It's like, we talk about more things than just video games, man. But we are the Drunk-Nerds podcast, and social media is part of our nerd culture.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's like, obviously, like the fact that, I think overall, I really enjoy social media because if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be doing this podcast right now.
Very true.
Yeah, so it's like overall, but actually, Jake and I met on the Talking Ship forums.
True.
Maybe in a way, yeah. So I don't know, but anyways, it's nice because you keep track with people. Like I was telling Courtney, I'm like, I have all these friends all over the fucking country. It's like I went and saw these guys in Vegas. Like that's fucking nuts. Like I tell them like, so it's like there's a lot of evils and bullshit with social media, but overall, I think it's a positive. It just depends on how you put into your life. So if you're one of those people that just, it rules your life and shit. Like, I know I used to be that. Like I said, for years I was that way. I did let it take over, and like I was always big on that, and like I cared about how many friends I had, or I cared about what I posted. And I get upset if I only got like 3. Like, that was a good. Like, here's this. I posted about my personal life, or I posted something, and it's like, what the fuck? I only got 3 likes. That's bullshit. And it's just like, what does that matter? That's fucking dumb. Just like whatever. Just go here for the memes. That's what it's for. And pictures of dogs. That's all I care about. Send me pictures of your fucking dog and videos, cute videos. I'm all for it. Like, that's what life is about. Anyways, this is typically a video game podcast, but we just went on a 15-minute rant about fucking social media. So whatever, I don't know. And dogs. But yeah, we haven't really done a normal show in a couple weeks now because we just did our game of the year for 2019. That was fucking still weird to think that Untitled Goose Game is our game of the year for 2019. That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, so awesome.
Was it the Dice Awards? Actually, it won the Dice Awards Game of the Year. So I mean, we're not that great, and that's voted by fucking developers. So I guess technically it's not really the craziest fucking thing in the world, but yeah. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, it's good to be back. Good to be back to be doing a normal show. We haven't sat down and done one of these in a couple weeks, so I'm excited. There's been some things happening the last few weeks. Not some of the biggest shit in the world, but bits of shit. There's been some news. I'm not even gonna get into all the coronavirus bullshit because I mean,
it's everywhere, man. It's like so overdone.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously something to worry about, especially, I understand like why a lot of like events are getting canceled. E3 is in danger. What was it? CDC was it? No, what was the one that's got the big one in San Francisco? GDC. Thank you. That one just got canceled or postponed to summertime. Like, that makes sense. I'm all for it. Blah blah. Especially on the West Coast, because that's like primarily like, especially in like California, that seems to be like the worst area for it right now. So it's probably is for the best that we don't have that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't even get all that news. Like, we're just gonna guide over that because it's like I listen to like Kind of Funny Games daily every day.
Yeah. And
the joke for them the last few weeks is they're the coronavirus game daily, because it's our coronavirus daily or something like that. Kind of funny coronavirus. I don't remember. There was a name for it. The people going around. It's pretty funny. But it's like, yeah, it's like every day like something is going on. Like, people are pulling out of events, or people like big things changing. Like, Microsoft's had people work from homes now and shit like that. So
Nintendo's doing the same thing too with their workers.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see people taking precaution. Like, I definitely think we should. But yeah, we're not gonna get into all that. But yeah, so there's been some there's been some other shit, some good shit happening in gaming though. So I think we'll jump into some of the news before we get into what we've been playing over the last couple weeks. I wanted to jump back into so remember we had the Platinum 4 stuff like about a month ago or so, and they announced Wonderful 101 on Kickstarter. And I think it made just over 2 million, I want to say, on Kickstarter, which is awesome. With the goal of 50,000, but obviously they knew they were gonna get 50,000 for sure.
But even with that Kickstarter, they made more than what they sold on Wii U.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they made more money off that fucking Kickstarter. Kickstarting a game that was not successful at all. It was reviewed well, but didn't sell well.
Yeah.
But anyways, they came out with a release date. It's coming out on in North America, it's coming out May 19th, and in Europe, May 22nd. But it's coming to Steam, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. So I just want to throw it out there. And that also, we got so that was the first one. That was one of the Platinum 4. We got number 2, which is Project Gigi, which is the Kamiya who made Wonderful 101 and Beautiful Joe. He's calling this the end of the trilogy for a superhero trilogy. Well, but this is the first ever Platinum game that's their own owned IP. Because normally they create IPs, but they're owned by other companies. Like Bayonetta's owned by Sega, Nier Automata is owned by PlayStation, Astral Chain is owned by Nintendo, like things like that. So this is their first their own IP that they own full control over. And also we got number 3 from them, which not as exciting right now. It's not initially exciting, but I think down the line it'll be exciting. They're opening up their second studio. They have their main one's in Osaka, and now they're opening up the second one in Tokyo.
Right. Okay.
So did you get a chance to check out the trailer for Project GG?
Yes, I did actually. I checked it out and stuff, and it kind of reminds me of like some of those old school like kaiju type of battles. Just every city span like just two big old monsters just go through just decking each other out. It has a lot of potential, that's for sure.
It was just like there was no gameplay or anything like that. It's probably very early on in development. I'm assuming Project GG is just the project name. That's probably not the. Was it Project A Go or something like that? Is what they were calling it. So we don't have like an official name or anything like that. But I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to see that there was some concerns over Platinum there a few years ago because like some of their games coming out, like they had a lot of games coming out for a while. We've talked about it before, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game that was terrible, and
right.
A couple other games are coming out, and they're just like there was obviously like the D team that was like working on a lot of projects. It seemed like it felt very Telltale to me, like where they were like
you could tell that a lot of
shit coming out
main
fast.
Team was like just busy or just like either fatigued with stuff, because it showed definitely within the efforts when they were having their C&D teams like work on these miniature games, like say like with the Turtles game back in the last generation. It's just
yeah. So it's glad to see that they're expanding, and they got like what was it, like $150 million from Tencent, who owns like a lot of like they own Respawn, and they own a lot of like they're big in like they own a lot of space in the gaming world. So they got a bunch of money from them, and they said this is a big reason why this is the reason why they're able to do Project GG and open up that second studio. So it's pretty exciting to see that they're expanding. But going back to Wonderful 101, I think it's gonna be $40. It's coming out digitally. Is this something you think you might see yourself picking up?
Yep. Actually, I pretty much think I am going to go ahead and pick it up on the Switch because, for one, I'm a fan of it from the Wii U, but at the same time, I do like the idea of just playing it handheld-wise on my Switch. I mean, that's just the main appeal now. If I'm going to play a game that's kind of like even reminiscent like Nintendo-related, I'm going to be picking it up on the Switch, especially if it's like a third party that's nice.
Yeah. Especially, it was a Nintendo game, so that makes sense. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see what people are saying about it, because I remember it reviewed fairly well when it came out. I remember playing it. I just didn't care for the gamepad association with it. So
yeah, that's part of the reason why I stopped playing it initially. It's like the game console was fun, the gameplay was fun. It's just I just did not want to go through with the whole gamepad aspect of it because it kind of felt kind of convoluted.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait to see people say that, but it's also coming out kind of the week before Last of Us 2. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna be good. Speaking of Last of Us, though, there is going to be a Last of Us TV show.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's they signed a deal with the Chernobyl main writer creator is going to be heading this up of writing the Last of Us TV show. It's going to be on HBO. Mike Druckmann, who created Last of Us and was also the head writer of the original game and the sequel, also used to work at IGN. He's going to be with one of the main writers on there too to help make sure it works out well and get some of the shit right. But yeah, so I mean, it just got announced yesterday. It's Friday night as we're recording, and so this project's probably a couple of years out. But I don't know. I saw that and like. People have been talking about like a Last of Us movie, like, oh, we want a Last of Us movie, shit like that. Like, yeah, I mean, there's been times where I'm like, that's like I've talked myself into it, but I was like, it was funny though. Like just last week, I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm just like, because there's been a lot of news with the Uncharted movies. Like it's kind of like it's got some legs now and finally gonna happen. I'm just like, I don't know if I want it now. It's like, it's a movie, it's a spectacle in itself, but it's like I was like, I don't want a Last of Us movie. And then I heard this news, and I'm like, oh, actually, no, I want that. I'm cool with this. Like.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have of that too.
Yeah, it's like especially with like with Witcher coming out, and I don't care about like Witcher's not my thing. Like, but I heard it's excellent, and I'm happy it is. So like it gives me hope that like we can finally have like we might get some good video game like stuff out there. So like it's cool. Like
it's weird.
Go ahead.
It's actually absolutely weird because we're in this point now inside of the media where it's like. A lot of the concepts are now shifting away from the whole comic book kind of craze that the movies and TV shows were focused on, and it's now starting to go heavily focused upon video games and stuff. I mean, look at the trends for the last couple of years. We've had Detective Pikachu doing very well. We've had The Witcher. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog doing well in theaters absolutely just floored me because it was just gone through its whole rigmaroles and delays and character redesigns and stuff, and then it's like you have the announcement most recently of The Last of Us, and man, I'll tell you what, with Druckmann behind the wheel helping write this, and like in episodic content, maybe like an hour or so each week or something like that, this has the absolute potential of being like a fantastic complementary experience to the games, because it's like most of the time, what I loved most about the original Last of Us was how detailed story between Joel and Ellie were. You know, it's like you felt their conflict, you felt their like just struggle to survive against unparalleled like odds and stuff being against them. And I kind of like to see like where at they would go through and explore certain aspects. I mean, would they go through and just maybe cover just the entirety of the first game? You know, with maybe fleshing out some bits. Will they combine elements of the second as well, which possibly could be like a separate season, you know? Maybe like the first season's like scheduled with the first game, and then maybe the second game is like the second season, you know? It's just so much more potential with and exciting thoughts about it. I mean, if there were like a movie, I'd be kind of accepting of it, but at the same time, there's only so much you can fit into a movie.
Yeah. Because this world definitely is pretty deep. Like Uncharted fits well for a movie. Like that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
I'm not super excited about. Like I love Tom Holland being like he's gonna play Drake in there, but I don't know if he's young. He's Spider-Man, by the way, if people don't know. But he's legitimately only like 20 years old. It's like, and like, Drake is like in his 30s or so in the original game, so he's been doing it for a while.
Yep.
So I don't know how it's gonna work. Like, but it's funny though. Like Mark Wahlberg was supposed to play Nathan Drake in the like 10, 15 years ago.
And now he's too old.
It's been so long. This movie's been in development hell for so long. Now he's going to play Sully, the old guy. So
well, that makes sense, you know.
But it's just so funny. Like when this movie first was getting kicked around, I'm like, oh, Mark Wahlberg's going to play Drake. And it's like, that sounds terrible. And now it's been he's so old. Now it's been so long. He's actually old enough he could play the old guy. So I don't know if I don't know why. I don't know. Like, he's funny. I don't have anything like against Mark Wahlberg. I think
old guy,
he's pretty
Marky
funny
Mark.
in comedy. Yeah, like he could be a good Sully, but it's just like I don't know how I feel about it, because it's like unless they're gonna like do like the Uncharted 3 shit where it's like when they kind of start from that perspective where Sully found him and brought him into the game and shit like that. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's like, but we always talk about with like, oh man, it'd be great if they made Mass Effect the TV show, or so the movie or the TV show, if they'd done it right. But it's like we always say, if it's done right. But it's like I was thinking like what does that mean? And it's like with this though, it's like if I was gonna say like if Last of Us was done right, like this is like when I heard like who's behind it, like I watched Chernobyl. It's a fucking brilliant show.
Right.
It's like that guy. Like I don't know his name. I can't remember his name. But it's like he can meet that tone of like the world of Last of Us. Like Chernobyl is a very like it's a great show, but it's depressing as fuck.
Well,
And
I
like
bet
it's a pretty like shitty like atmosphere, and he nails it. And if you know he hits it, like if you feel it, you know. And I think he can hit that tone and hit with really well done writing. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. But sticking with the PlayStation news, Ghost of Tsushima got a surprise trailer drop yesterday as well, with not only a 3-minute story trailer, we actually got a release date for it. It's coming out June 26th. So it's a Sucker Punch game. I don't know. What's your thoughts with the Ghost of Tsushima game?
The Ghost of Tsushima game, I'm really liking how the game's coming along. It's much more kind of methodical in terms of the approach. I have not seen the last trailer that was just revealed. I saw the release date, which I'm fairly excited about, because I thought this game's going to be like delayed a little bit further to have like the PS5 launch. But at the same time, it's like, in my point of view, my stance on Ghost of Tsushima is like, I want to play this game. It's like that samurai type of game that I've been wanting to play for quite a long time. I mean, it comes like a year after the whole Sekiro stuff with the whole ninja like esque type of like movements and this and that, and this is kind of more my pace, you know. It's like it's more recognize enemy patterns and stuff, but also it's much more methodical in terms of an approach, you know. It's more like say how samurai, say back around the Meiji era inside Kyoto, Japan, so just like went through and just battled each other, not only just for like prestige and like a bunch of honor stuff, but also just kind of reminds me of like some of the old like samurai films, even back back when, where it was just mostly just a bunch of battles, just a bunch of like honor base combat and this and that. It's definitely got its appeal to me.
yeah. No, it's been one of those games where it's like I'm interested in it, but like, what is it, kind of thing? And it's like,
right.
I still like to see a little more game. I'm in. Like, I'm all excited for. Like, I love PlayStation first party for the most part has been like killing it. Like, they've got a really great library. Like, they're pretty one note third person action adventure game with, but I still love them. Like I think outside of Days Gone, I've loved every Death Stranding to a certain extent. I've enjoyed all of their first party games. So like I'm all in on this one, but I'd like to see a little more gameplay for it. I'd like to see a little bit more from it. Like we've seen a lot of we haven't seen a lot of that. Like we haven't got that kind of like when we normally like the E3 before a game comes out, we get that big huge like explosion of like here's the game. Like you see all the gameplay and you see like you get like a big way more deep dive into how it runs and works, and like we really haven't gotten that from this game yet.
No,
maybe
not
it's
yet.
Because we haven't had a state of play for a while. We haven't had they didn't run at E3. They haven't had anything like that. Like we just I don't know. Maybe that's the reason why, but maybe we'll get something here soon. But yeah, I'm all in on this game right now. It's like let's tell otherwise. I went ahead and pre-ordered it on PS4. I can cancel it if I want to, but I went ahead and pre-ordered it. I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah, this game looks great. I'm all in. It's kind of shocking that it's coming out, just a month after Last of Us 2. But we were supposed to have fucking Last of Us 2 last week. It was supposed to come out initially. And then remember they did a state of play and they announced the release date for Last of Us 2, and then the very next week they delayed it 3 months. So
yep.
The original plan, I guess, was actually the release date that Last of Us is in. That was Ghost of Tsushima's original release date, and then they had to push back that game because Last of Us got delayed. So there was talks. I'm surprised it's coming out so soon because the talks were like to create space for it. They're going to have it come out at the end of summer. But with the new consoles coming soon, maybe it's probably a good thing so it doesn't get overshadowed. Probably because who knows like what will be like if it comes out August or September. It's like people are probably like I'm just gonna wait for the new one. So this gives it like there's a long enough gap between June and November that game people would be willing to buy that game. So I'm excited for it. It definitely looks like it could be a really great game. But moving on to so we got some Star Wars news. So Star Wars went ahead or EA went ahead and canceled yet another Star Wars game. So Jason Schreier of Kotaku, who is like I don't know how he just he has so many people in his back pocket from EA. Like he's the guy that breaks all the news about fucking all the Star Wars games, Anthem, everything about them. So
right,
his articles are fairly lengthy. So but this one isn't so bad. But I'm gonna read through a lot of times I'll just go through articles. I'll just like take out the cliff notes and shit like that. And this one, it's just like there's a lot of good news in this one, so it's hard to take it out. So, go ahead and read through this article here. So, last spring, EA canceled a planned spin-off of its popular Star Wars Battlefront series, the third Star Wars game that the publisher has axed since 2017.
Wow.
The latest game, codenamed Viking, was originally envisioned for release date this fall, 2020, alongside the next generations of consoles. So it's going to be their big launch games for the new consoles. Once it became clear to the executives that the timeline was unrealistic, they canceled Viking. This account is based on interviews with 6 people in the inner workings of EA. They're all anonymous, obviously. So this is all like the backstory of Viking. So the Viking itself. Let me try that again. Sir, okay, I don't like that. So anyways, EA owned studio Visceral. Which spent 2 years working on a Star Wars heist game called Ragtag, under the well-known director Amy Hennig, who worked on Uncharted. In 2017, EA shut down Visceral and canceled Ragtag. Then the Ragtag arts assets were given to EA Vancouver to make because they were working on like a Star Wars open world game. So they took the assets and were like, we're just gonna combine them in with this game. And that game was codenamed Orca. And that game was in development until all throughout 2018 until it too was canceled. So Orca was canceled as well. At that time, EA Vancouver was spinning up a smaller Star Wars project to replace it, one that would be planned for release date fall 2020 alongside the next-gen PlayStation and Xbox. EA executives like to call it a financial hole that needed filling. This third game was called Viking, and it was designed as a spin-off of the Star Wars Battlefront series with open-world elements. The plan was for EA, also for EA, to bring in yet another studio to help, Criterion, who works on Burnout and Need for Speed. EA Vancouver spent some time designing ideas and prototypes for Viking, and Criterion came along board soon afterward. That was when the problem started. Although Criterion was on paper the lead studio, the logistical challenges of cross-country game development made it a difficult proposition, as one person involved with the game said too many cooks was running the theme. I believe Criterion they're in London, and EA Vancouver is obviously in Vancouver, so you're across the world, so completely different time codes, or not time codes,
time zones.
Thank you. So Criterion leads had an ambitious vision for the game, aiming to put a strong focus on story and characters. It soon became clear that Viking would never be finished in just a year and a half. What the fuck? EA executives had no interest in extending the timeline. Viking was canceled in the first half of 2019, although this news has gone unreported until now. That fall 2020 financial hole will go unfilled. Criterion has now taken back the Need for Speed series, and EA Vancouver is supporting other EA studios like BioWare and Respawn on games like Anthem and Apex Legends. And EA Vancouver is also helping work on like FIFA and Madden and stuff. So yeah, this is their third game. So like, it's just, so they canceled, what was the first game? Ragtag.
Yeah.
Trying to turn that game into Orca. And then Orca got canceled, and they tried to like fill in the hole that Orca was supposed to fill with this game codenamed Viking, and that also got canceled. So yeah, this is not Gables is not going well. It's like,
no,
like it just seemed like they're getting their shit together. With Fallen Order came out, it was my number 9 game of the year for last year. It was a really good game, but not great, I don't think. But a lot of people's game of the year last year, which I understand why. But then you hear shit like this, it's just like I don't like they said, like that game they wanted that game done in a year and a half, and it was just like, we can't do that. And it's like, all right, well, that game's canceled now. So there's a lot of in this, I think, where it's like, not only so they try to make a game year and a half, they keep canceling games because they're not going to get done in time because they want to fill in fall 2020. It's like, oh, this game isn't coming together fast enough, canceled. So you guys been working on this game for 3 years now. Now you got to make a game, but you can't get it done in time. So now you guys got a year to make this game and fill in the spot. But now it's like, oh, well, we can't fucking do that. Oh, your game's canceled too. So it's like now they have nothing for 2020. They have nothing beyond 2020. The only thing that we know is in development with them is there is a Fallen Order 2 is in development. Obviously early on, we're probably not going to see that game for 2-3 years. And then there was another game, a smaller Star Wars game that's being worked on as well. So the contract I think is up in 2022 or 2023 for the Star Wars exclusivity for EA, and I feel like that's not, like, I don't think it's gonna get renewed. Like, they released 3 Star Wars games in 7. They've canceled 3 that we know of, and they've released 3. One of which got heavily panned, Battlefront 2. Battlefront 1 feels like it was just, we need a game out as soon as possible. And that's what that was. And we got one really, really well received great game, Fallen Order. So I don't know, Gables. Where are you on with this, all the shit?
Honestly, I feel like it's unfortunate, but at the same time, really, this is just EA quintessentially just shitting the bed with this franchise, regardless of what. I mean, it's unacceptable that they can't even decide what they want to stick to a long term. But then again, they're a $1 million company that subsequently has so many other different companies that they've bought, and quintessentially they do have the funds where they can just randomly cancel things like this. But at the same time, it's incredibly shitty, and it's also incredibly disingenuous too, in terms of like saying a contract for like the people that have worked on those particular games for years, because a couple of them actually sounded fairly promising. The one headed by Amy Hennig and stuff, the whole ragtag thing, like a heist.
That game sounded. We got gameplay for that game. Like, they were like, that was a huge thing a few E3s ago.
Yep.
With the ragtag, like, we had gameplay. They had Amy Hennig out there talking about it, like, front and center. And it's like, oh, we just cancel it. It's not coming together fast enough.
Of course, we already knew about the whole open world Star Wars thing that they showcased like a little bit once during an E3, and then never showed it again. And that had a lot of promise too, because hell, I like the idea of like being some sort of like rebel Alliance member or something like that, just going to a bunch of different planets and stuff like an overworld, sort of similar to like other open world games and stuff, and the company missions and do this and that, you know. But it's Star Wars, you get to do this and that, you know. But yeah, it is a unfortunate pattern what EA is going through and approaching, because honestly, it's like they are so hell bent in trying to insert any type of extra type of things into pre-existing games that they really have not thought about the long term of any of their franchises. It feels like it just feels like more they're trying to do a cash grab thing is like now in present tense with no elements of say future stuff. Even regardless, they have people working on games like say FIFA and like Madden and stuff. They're usual annual cash cows, but at the same time, it's like it's more or less for companies like EA, Activision, and even like bits of Ubisoft, where it's like they're focusing more on the microtransaction and like games as a service type of style, that they are not readily even thinking about the consequence of like say cashing in all your chips now and not thinking about how it's going to be about 3 or 4 years from now. Because I can guarantee you this, the only way that Disney's going to renew their license is if EA actually does something that they have not done yet, and that's create a Star Wars experience that makes them a buttload of money, and it goes through, it's highly successful, maybe like a phenomenon in terms of pop culture, but even so, people are fucking sick of Star Wars right now.
Yeah, like Disney can't talk too much shit because like Last Jedi got panned. I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet. It's coming out next week digitally. I'm gonna buy it and watch it.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, those two movies, I have honestly no desire to watch them.
I enjoyed Last Jedi for it's I don't know, I don't get all the hate for it. Like, not the greatest movie, but I'm not gonna get all of that. But it's like I enjoyed it for what it was. But like, yeah, it's like Star Wars is not in a good place. It's honestly, it might be in a worse place than I don't want to go that deep. But it's pretty bad. It's not as bad as like it's close to as bad as it was with the prequels.
It needs to go away.
Yeah, that's like it does, like, because it's just Battlefront 2 came out, all these canceled games. The movie side Solo was meh. Last Jedi.
Jedi and like
Rise of Skywalker, everybody hates it apparently.
Let's see.
Like
The Force Awakens and even like Rogue One.
Rogue One were fantastic.
Those two movies I thought were fairly good.
Yeah.
Everything else since then, from the Battlefield games to Solo to the freaking like Rise of Skywalker and the other like Last Jedi stuff like that, has just been so mixed and so hodgepodge and stuff that yeah, Disney has no excuse in turning that franchise into the ground like they had been doing. The only their saving grace so far has been The Mandalorian. I mean, for God's sake, that did well for itself. Yeah,
I actually enjoyed that. I need to get back. I only watched the first half of it. I need to get back to it. But yeah, no, it's just Star Wars is not in a good place right now, and it sucks. It's because it's the biggest IP out there, and it's like probably in all of entertainment. Like that should be something that comes out there and everybody's like excited for it, and it's just like nobody's excited about anything really Star Wars right now. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer to see. I do think I like the idea of like let Respawn keep working on Fallen Order. Like I'm excited. I'd rather see a Titanfall 3 than a Fallen Order 2, to be honest with you. But
right.
I'm cool. Like let them fucking keep doing that thing. I would say don't give EA the exclusivity deal. Like, hey, we'll let you guys do this and a couple other things. But it's like I'm gonna go to like we're gonna go to this studio here in my head. You guys go make something. You guys go make something. Like kind of like Marvel's done a big thing. Where it's like we're not gonna make games, but we're gonna go around and talk to people. Like they went to PlayStation and said, hey, we want you to make a video game for us. And then like we want you to make Spider-Man. And then they went to Nintendo. Hey, we want you to make a game. And then we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And I'm assuming they went to Xbox because there's no way they only went to those two and didn't go to Xbox. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the big blowout, probably E3 this year, Microsoft announces their own exclusive Marvel game. Avengers is coming out soon. Like I like that idea. I think that'd be smarter for them. Don't put your eggs in one basket. It's like get somebody that knows their shit about gaming and that knows the market and can go to these people and it's like, hey, you guys are really good at this. I want you to do this. Make this kind of game for Star Wars. Like I think that should be the way to go. Like EA, yeah, they're the biggest out there for gaming and probably make you the most money. But if you want, you want something more than money. You want also quality. You don't want just I don't maybe I hope that's what they want. I hope people at Disney are pissed off right now and are looking at like we need to fix this. Like, hey, we made a fuck ton of money, but it's like the cash cow is gonna get dried up here if you keep doing that. Like, we're not gonna dry up, but it's gonna get lesser returns every time on it. So I'm hoping they're able to turn around. And also it's a big deal I think with you look at EA where like they don't have a big game this year. I think Fallen Order was a big game last year for the holiday season.
But they have not come out with any type of big game announcement or anything else like that, and it's already March.
Yeah, and I don't, and it doesn't sound, if we don't hear anything, I mean, they'll have their EA Play this June, assuming E3 and everything doesn't get canceled. But they're gonna announce some stuff, but it's like, but from what we're reading in this article, they don't have a big game this fall.
Nope.
So it's like Battlefront, there's like Battlefront 2, it sounds like it's turned around, people are playing it, and it's got a good community now. They got the shit straight on that. Like Battlefield, we haven't got a new one of those in a few years, and it doesn't. I don't know who knows when that one's coming out, and then one of those is coming out. Even that's like people love it or hate it kind of thing. It's like EA's in a weird spot right now, where it's like they used to have all these big bangers. Like you can kind of like you knew their formula for better or worse. You knew their formula, and it's like they've lost that formula, which maybe in the end will be better. But it's like they're like in a weird place where it's like, yeah, they got Apex Legends, they got FIFA, they got Madden. They're gonna be fine. Like we're not like there's no worries about EA going out of business or anything. But it's like, what's going on with the rest of the company? So it's like I don't know. It's just a crazy spot we're in. But something that came out of that article that I didn't read, but I was gonna get to it next. So this is the next topic here for this. He said that like I said, Fallen Order 2 is in development, and there is a smaller, more unusual project at EA Motive that's in development right now. And then just like a week later, there was this someone data mined out of the PlayStation Store in Europe. This like kind of like basically like a screenshot called Star Wars Project Maverick, and it's just like it shows a Star Destroyer on a planet, and that's all we have for it. And there's been like and on there is like there's an Imperial Star Destroyer, and there's a fleet of X-wings out there. So there's been some rumors that maybe it's like a dogfighting game, but this one I think it's like it's a smaller project. It's different than what they're making, used to making. So yeah, like maybe this is I don't know if this is coming out. I'm assuming it must be coming out fairly soon. They're going to announce it fairly soon because like this same thing happened earlier this year with Resident Evil 3. And then, like, remember it was on the European, like, yeah, but this one actually went on the European store, the Resident Evil 3 artwork. And then a week later, they announced the Resident Evil 3, the game. Like, it wasn't even officially revealed yet. Everybody knew it was coming, but it was officially revealed. So I'm wondering if this is maybe the same thing. Like, this is pretty much the same thing that happened with RE3. But I don't know. Like, I'm actually, this is something like a smaller project. Because that's something like I kind of miss, like a lot of these bigger companies doing. Like Ubisoft was doing there for a while with like Rayman and Child of Light and shit like that. And then like EA was doing there with Mirror's Edge and Dead Space. Like they're doing these like side games. Like, and I'm hoping maybe they change their ways. Like they've proven that Star Wars Fallen Order, the game they were expected to sell 6 to 8 million in the first 3 months, sold over 10 million. It's like obviously like people want those, like a really well made single player game where you can't get microtransactions out of them at. Like people want that. People will pay for that. So I'm hoping maybe that makes them change their ways. And I don't know, maybe this could be something different. It's a smaller project. Who knows what the fuck it is? Maybe it's like a free to play, like Apex Legends type of thing, like a battle royale game. Like I don't know, but like
or could be something like out of like the blue and stuff like that nobody would even think about. Like for example, there's this one gaming franchise I think EA put out like a long time ago on the DS, which I kind of wish would get revisited, maybe re-released or something, like say as like maybe even it's like a little downloadable game, like Henry Hatsworth. And I'm talking about Henry Hatsworth was like a puzzle game, right, for the DS. And basically what it was, it's like you had this theme or something like that where you would go through, solve all these different puzzles, right? But if you got a specific condition, you actually have this English gentleman and stuff with a monocle and stuff all of a sudden bear like a mech and stuff like that and just start destroying blocks and everything else. It was a platforming puzzle game, quintessentially. You had puzzle things on the bottom, and then all of a sudden on the top you would do like a regular platformer. So it's like, I really wish I could see that game downloadable. If that would be something like on mobile, or if it was something, say, like that just appeared randomly. I mean, EA has the rights to it, I believe. But it's just one of those hidden gems that I kind of wish they would revisit once in a while.
Yeah, and that's probably like that was like mid 2000s or early 2000s. So that's probably during those weird Mirror's Edge, Dead Space days. So
Yep.
like I hope maybe they revisit that. Maybe this is like they'll like redo things. And I don't know. I'm interested. Like I think it'd be kinda cool to like have a like was it Battle Squadron? No, was that what was that? What was the Star Wars game? It was like it launched on the GameCube.
It was Rogue Leader.
Rogue Leader, yeah, we got one of those. Like
It was
that'd
a
be
sequel to Rogue Squadron on the 64. And I'll tell you what, that game, Rogue Leader, still looks fantastic to this very day. And not only that, but if you have it in progressive and you actually activate it and have it like on your CRT, it just really is impressive doing the Death Star run, and then all of a sudden you are just flying through everything, and it's just still has that same type of big movie feel.
Yeah, like that would be badass if you got something like that. That's something I think would be kind of cool. They kind of went back to that kind of roots. But that is the end of our news for the week. It's been, like I said, it's been a couple weeks we've done a regular show, so we've been playing some shit. Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first, Gables?
You go first.
All right. So I played a couple of games. Like I've talked about, like I've been kind of in that like there's nothing coming out for a while phase. So it's like I haven't anything new to play. So I've been in that weird like just jumping into random games, trying to see if something clicks with me. And I was like, I really just want to play something on my Switch. Like I haven't played a game on the Switch for a little while. And I went on there. I was looking in the store, and I looked at my dashboard there, and fucking Pokemon Shield. I'm like, I fucking forgot I actually own this game. So I remember like I talked to you about it like it's probably a couple months ago because I bought it on Christmas Day. So I think I played like 8-9 hours of it like that first week and a half that I had it, and then I just for whatever reason I just can't go back to it. And so I just beat the third gym, and I started playing it. We'll say end of about late last week, so about a week ago. And I went through and actually finished the game. It only took me like 21, 22 hours. It was surprisingly pretty fast. Yeah. So I remember we talked about it. Like I was interested. We're like Hop, like with your rival Hop, and what's going on with that? Like what's going on with the gym leader? Like there's a lot of mysteries behind it. Because there wasn't like a villain. There wasn't like they had Team Yell, who was like I thought was like, oh, they're gonna be the Team Rocket. They're gonna be the villain of the game, and like the people you gotta fight. Like yeah, no, not even close whatsoever. They're just really annoying super fans. But I was really intrigued. Like I like the fact they were breaking the mold of the kind of the generic story. Like Pokemon, they tried with Pokemon Sun and Moon. We talked about that, and I didn't care for that what they did with all that. Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed emotions about it. Like I'm happy they're breaking the mold and trying different things, but I felt like they were going somewhere with the story, and they didn't go all the way with it. Like I liked it because like there's that BD guy, and I was like, I kind of like him and his aspect of it. Like he beats Hop, and like he like Hop like he destroys Hop, and like Hop's like he runs Hop on the ground. And he's like now Hop is like he's doubting himself, and he's like maybe I need to change like the way I do things. I'm like, oh cool, like we're going somewhere. Like spoiler alerts for the story for this game, but yeah, I was like, oh man, we're gonna go. Like he's gonna be a bad guy. Like I was like, that'd be sweet if they made Hop like the villain. Like he turns and like he's like all of a sudden he becomes a dick or something like that. Because that's what I want. Like that's what I miss. Like I miss like the first like Pokemon game where like your rival he's a douchebag. Like you hate that guy. You don't like that guy. And like I want that. I want to dislike that guy. You know, like this is my rival. Like I want to beat you. And like I just I don't know. I was hoping like they'd go more into it. Like I liked what they're doing, everything there. I like the gym challenges. Like I didn't care for what they did with the gym challenges in Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I like what they did with this one. Yeah, incorporating it. And then you have the gym leader at the end. Like I liked all that. I like where they were going. I love like you talking about the big fight feel. Like you met all the gym leaders beforehand. You talked to them. You communicate with them. So you know these guys. So like now like, I'm looking at you like this is a boss fight. I'm looking at. It's not just some random guy at the end of a building.
Let me ask you though. It's like who were your favorite gym leaders in that game?
Well, I played Shield, so I had two different gym leaders than you. Because you played Sword. I really like the ghost. I can't think of his name, but he was the ghost Pokemon gym leader because he had the mask on. I think. Alistair, yep. And then what was the fuck? I liked the ice one. I can't remember his name either though.
Oh, that's the mother to like the rock like one. Now that I think about it, Cannot remember her name though, but you like the specific ones that
Yeah. Well, I like the
are
one,
opposite of what I had a chance to play.
Yeah. Well, and I like the old lady. I thought she was pretty funny when she's like
Opal.
the whole thing about pink and all that. Like that was pretty. Like I like. I don't know. I didn't care for the one I hated the most was the sister of the brother.
Oh,
the rock. Yeah, I didn't like that guy at all. I was just like I'm like I don't need to see you like lip singing because like there's no voice. He's like a rocker, an emo rocker, but there's no voice acting in the game. So he's like jamming out. There's no music, and he's just like there's subtitles for the lyrics, and I'm just like I don't like this. I don't like this guy. I don't know. Did you like him?
That's kind of like the opposite of me. It's like I like Piers because he's like, it was like more or less. It's kind of different than what you would initially expect and stuff. He was just kind of like that almost like a ragtag. Like he was a gym leader that you respect and stuff. You face and stuff, and it's like the whole thing about being like Marnie's brother and stuff like that. That kind of came out of left field for me. It was like, oh well, it makes sense because of the look and aesthetics though, but in hindsight stuff, I kind of liked a lot of the assistance that he did provide during like side story stuff with the whole like legend, like with the whole like end near the end of the Pokemon game.
Yeah,
the end of the game in that regards. But some of my favorites, well, yeah, Opal was pretty damn funny because of the whole interactions and stuff with Bede and stuff, and like her whole introduction process and stuff to try to find her replacement. Be like what took center point with that. I thought that was fairly hilarious and stuff because you had to go through once you initially go to her gym, you pretty much are just quizzed then and there and stuff like that. Oh, are you the replacement gym leader that I've been looking for so I can retire finally? And
yeah.
What ends up becoming like a whole shtick of that and stuff becomes like a whole thing of like Bede simultaneously just transforming himself into the fairy type gym leader. Which in itself, this is your rival and stuff. That he was a freaking dick when you met him and stuff like that. He still is kind of a dick, but now he kind of respects you a bit more and stuff. But yeah, I liked. It's like what I said before, Tyler. When I finished Pokemon Sword, the thing that I liked about Sword and Shield story-wise the most is because characters they started off differently. You know, when they started off, you had their own like set like characters that kind of stereotypical and stuff. But at the end of the game, a lot of them were fairly different than what they were when they started off as.
Yeah.
With Bede, he was like the kind of like the dick rival and stuff like that. You know, he was working with the chairman, like doing all sorts of like kind of nefarious little deeds, and then once he gets pretty much like disowned by Rose, Chairman Rose, and stuff like that, he has to go on his own type of like journey and like this and that and stuff until Opal kind of like convinces him to be like the gym leader and this and that, and now he's a gym leader, like. Quintessentially kind of the same attitude and stuff like that, but kind of a little bit more reserved now because now he's trying to take that responsibility. Then you have like Hop, you know, where it's like that stereotypical like, oh, the chipper sort of rival and stuff. That's like your best friend and this and that. You battle and you do all this and that, and all of a sudden he gets destroyed by Bede, and it's like self-doubts himself, but now he comes through and tries to be like, you know, try to focus upon a different path other than like say becoming the champion and this and that. It's like I said before, the elements of the Pokemon games is I liked the storytelling in regards to that, you know.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that like they actually gave like this game like had characters.
Yes,
like, I feel like for the most like for a lot of Pokemon games, you know, like I said, I played the first 2 generations, maybe I think I played the third one a little bit, and then I jumped in back in X and Y. I liked X and Y because it gave you like a group of friends, and like I was coming back into it, like it was like a nice jump back in spot for me and for a lot of fans, but like. I like that, like we talked about before. Like I like the fact that like you met these gym leaders, you met these characters, and it's like they actually had characters like in this game where it's like normally it's like there's you don't have a character, it's just us, we don't talk, and then there was like your rival who you talk to every now and again, and then like the professor, and it's like this one like I loved like how they kind of like I said jumped in, like there's more of a story to it. I really enjoyed actually like. The whole thing with Chairman Rose, like him coming out to be the bad guy and shit like that. I like that whole like final boss battle with him and everything like that. Like I liked a lot of that. I wish there was more of it. Cause I was like that. Yeah, that's kind of one complaint I had. Like I felt like after a certain like it was kind of too much of a straight line for this game. Like, it was just like go to gym, go through this route, go to gym. There wasn't like any break off points, anything like that. Like I don't want like I want them to break off that for me a little bit, and I like the ways they're going with it. I like the gameplay part of it to break off. Like I don't want to go. We don't need the cave. We don't need to go in and defeat the Team Rocket of this game. Like we don't need all that. Like I'm happy they're breaking some of that for me, but I like this stuff. Some of the stuff they're doing. Like I like going in and have to go to the big building there at the end and stop Chairman Rose and all that. Like going to the woods and getting the sword and shield and all. Like there was some cool shit they did, and I like where they're going. I want them to go more into that direction. But yeah, like the bead thing, I didn't. It's when he came back and he fights you at towards the end, like and like he like it's like he kind of comes like he's like that douchebag, but you make him see the light kind of thing. It's like I didn't want that. Like just keep being a douche, you know.
The douchebag with a heart of gold.
Yeah, like I don't no stop that. Yeah, basically. And I don't know. I wanted the I don't know. I liked mostly where the game was. It's a kid's game, so I never came close to losing. But it was kind of funny though. Like I went through and like I destroyed everybody. Like flew through the entire like the championship thing, and then I got to Leon, the champion, the final fight of the game, and it's like all my Pokemon were like high 50s and low 60s, or high 50s to like mid 60s, and like I flew through everybody, destroyed. I didn't do any real grinding in the game. The only grinding I guess I did was like. Every Pokemon game, I beat all the trainers in the game that you can beat at that point. Like I don't avoid battles. I go out and I fight them. I don't like the grinding and fighting wild Pokemon type of thing. I love the fact that we didn't have to do that in this game. And like I flew through everybody, and then I got to him. And it was like everybody, like even all the people I fought in the whole gym challenger thing, like at the end there, like all their Pokemon were like low 50s. So I like they did some damage, but I was able to defeat them fairly easily. Like, I was never in danger of losing. And then I fight him. All his Pokemon are in their mid 60s. I'm like, fuck. Like this is actually like there's a little bit of a challenge here. Like I had to like use some like usually you can just I can just like brute force my way through. Like I use strategy. I have like the like I'll have my electric type versus the water type or whatever. But it's like I can just brute force my way through shit. And it's just like this one I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta use some real strategy here. Like swap people out and like have someone take the bullet for this guy while I'm healing him up to come back out and fight.
Oh
like,
yeah,
but no,
I know exactly what you're talking about though.
Like I love that last fight. Like it was actually like I wasn't like in real danger like of losing. All the other fights like I maybe lost a Pokemon or like I came close to losing a Pokemon or something like that. This guy he actually took out 3 of my Pokemon. I'm like, fuck. And it was just like a matter of just like hitting him until he lost. Like until this Charizard fainted. But it was like. I liked it. I was like, oh man, I'm like, there's like, I felt like some real danger for like a Pokemon game for the first time since like, it kind of brought me back to like, I kind of missed that Elite Four, like the first couple generations where it's like that was a grind. Like you had to fight 5 guys in a row without healing, without stopping.
Yep.
You couldn't recover your power points. So you had to be smart. Like I don't want to use my best. I can only use this move 5 times in 5 battles. So I got to fucking use this right and sparingly. And it's like, I kind of missed that, like that fucking, like that big fight you had to get through at the end. Like, but I don't know. I really enjoyed that last fight. Like, I wish I had more of that in that game. And I know, like the end of the game, like you can go fight Hop, and you can. There's like a murderer's row of other Pokemon or other trainers you can face. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, like I don't want to sound like a complaint because I really enjoyed the game. Like it's the first Pokemon game that wasn't. I beat X and Y, and I went back and I beat Let's Go Pikachu. But like I said, that was more of like a nostalgia thing than anything.
Yeah.
This is like the first real Pokemon game I've beaten that didn't have that nostalgia, like that real nostalgia factor. Like X and Y and Let's Go were that. Like I burned out on Moon, I burned out on Omega Ruby. Like the first one I've beaten in a very long. It's like since Gold and Silver. So, yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Like I thought it was great. I like I said, I like where they're going with it. I wish they went a little further with it. But I'm hoping like this is like it sounds like they got an extra year to make a Pokemon game because they're not getting a Pokemon game this fall. That we're gonna get more DLC, and I'm kind of interested. I'm like now I'm thinking maybe I get the DLC for it. But yeah. So anyways, I really enjoyed that game. But the other game, it's the first game of like that came out in 2020 that I played this year. A game called Bloodroots. It's a small indie game. I think it's only like I want to say it might still be on sale right now because they had like if you bought it like when it first came out, it was like 10 or 20% off, so it was like $16 or something like that. But I think it's $20 normally. But what Nunu, will you shut up? She's down there doing her like thing. I mean, she's trying to sleep, and I'm irritating her, but she chooses to sleep on my feet. Anyways, it's a small little indie game. Just came out last week. It is a kind of like Hotline Miami style game where it's like you can kill your enemies in one hit, but you can also die in one hit. This one's a little different. Like where in Hotline Miami, you're like a small, like in rooms, you're like a smaller area. This one, it's like it's funny because I don't typically like these kind of games. Like I recognize they're good games, but they're not my style of games.
Right.
But something about this one's hitting with me, clicking with me. Where it's like, so it's like got like a Midwest or not Midwestern, Old West feel to it, and where like you basically it's like you play as this guy, like these bad guys like kill everybody in your town. They leave you like they thought they killed you, and now you're back for revenge. And you're going through and you're like, you know, systematically destroying. Like the first one, you're fighting like this one guy, and this I can't remember his name, but he's like this big, huge, fat guy. And but he was like, it's like a Western feel to it. But he's like driving on this like hovercraft thing, and kind of like Dr. Robotnik or something like that. And yeah, so it's like super fast paced. Like you go through like there's like I don't know, 15, 20 little sections in each level. And like you have to get through it without dying, and then like you unlock the next area to go through. And it's like, but it's like super fast paced, like you can't stop. Like, and it's all based off combos. You got to do it like in timings. Like you want to build your score up as fast as you can. Like time, being in a certain amount of time. You get graded at the end. I don't really give a shit about that. I just want to fucking survive because it's tough. Because like I said, you die in one hit. But you pick up weapons throughout you don't have anything when you get into a level, and like that's the area you're in, and you pick up shit as you go. Like you could pick up axes, swords, and like some of them give you like abilities. Like with like you get the sword, you can do like a dash. You could dash really fast across the screen.
Right.
And but you only get so many uses per weapon. So like the sword and the axe, you can only kill 3 guys, or well you can sometimes if you do like a dash with the sword, you get a line of guys you kill them. But you can only kill like so many guys with each weapon, and then it falls apart and you got to find another one. You can use your fist too, but when you use your fist, like you're delayed for a second. So if there's another guy around you, he can come up and hit you and kill you. And then like some enemies have weapons, some have fists, some have guns, and like you have to like you can see like the little red line, and you got to like dodge them, and like because you only have like you can grab weapons, hit and jump. That's all you have. It's just I'm playing on PlayStation, so square, X, and circle. That's all the buttons you use. Yeah, like so, like you have to go through, and it's like just like random. Like you can grab anything out of the environment. Like you can grab a fence post, you can grab a table. You can use a fishing pole, which is actually really cool because you can do like a full spin. You can grab a ladder, and like you do like a kind of like a spin attack, like kind of like the up B with Zelda, but you like spin in a circle. Like you actually move around a little bit. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, and like they're adding shit throughout. Like one of the weapons, like you can use carrots and fucking lettuce. You can grab it and you can hit enemies with it. Some of them like stun them, and like some of like the environmental effects they have, like where there's like fire. There's like people make fires and shit. Like you can actually like grab stacks of hay and grab that, put it in the fire and throw it, and there's enemies in the grass, and like you can take out a bunch of enemies that way. But yeah, I love it because it's like super fast paced. Like you get swarmed very easily, and just like it's a fucking rush. Like I was sitting there playing it the other day, and Courtney was sleeping. I'm like, fuck. Shit. God damn it. I'm like trying not like I don't usually get like very like I'm not like that type like that gets like that yells or screams, and I'm like that overactive gamer. But like this game, like some games do this to me. Like every now and again, like I die. I'm like, God damn it. But it's like this game is fucking like getting me. Like I'm like in it. I'm like fucking pumped. Like I'm really really enjoying this game. I'm having a blast. It's fucking hard. I'm on the final boss of the Act 1. So like each section has like Act 1-1, Act 1-2. So I'm on the final boss trying to beat this guy, and it's a very long level. Right. You got to beat all, like most of them, like you die, you just start that section over again. Like I said, there's like 10 to 15 sections per level, per act, dash, whatever you want to call it. And if you die, you just have to read that section again. So you have to do the whole level. This one you got to beat it all in one fucking go. And I keep getting progressing a little further every time. But yeah, I love it too because like you don't feel like at points like you're over like it's your fault type of game. It's like, oh man, okay, like you get a little better every time. You learn, okay, so I fucking love like getting the strategy. Like all right, so I'm gonna jump in the wheelbarrow. I'm gonna roll down, kill these 3 guys, jump off, grab the sword, dash over, kill that guy, dash over, kill these 2 guys, dash over, kill that guy, grab the axe that's right there, fucking hit this guy, grab the table, chuck it at this motherfucker. I just love putting everything in your brain. It's like you like all right, I killed. There's 15 guys in this section. I killed 12 of them. But then this guy, the 13th guy, got me. So now I got to figure out how to fucking kill him. So like sometimes I'll like, all right, I'm gonna break off that. I know this works. Now I got to figure out how to kill these 3 guys. So then I'll go all and I'll figure out a strategy to kill them. Die. I usually die trying to do everything else. Come back and I can just do it on one fell swoop. Like I love like figuring out. It's like almost a weird way of like figuring out how to get a higher score in like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like back in the day. It's like, all right, jump on this rail, grind over here, fucking do a goddamn ollie. Revert here and then jump off the half pipe, do fucking some badass moves. Like you just find the strategy like to get the best score. And it's like for me, it's not getting. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, I don't give a fuck. It's just survive for me. Like I'm a terrible gamer, but like if I stick to it, I can beat the goddamn game. Not Dark Souls though. Fuck that game. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. It's kind of a more of a cartoony style to it. There's different hats you can use, and like they give you abilities, but they only work. The abilities only work when you're going back to replay other levels. Like one of them, like you put a different hat on, like this, like it makes all the controls inverted. So if you hit right, you go left, shit like that. But they don't work. Like I said, you can only do them in stages you've already beat. So, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. It's definitely. I don't know if it's still on sale, but like even still, it's like only like $2 off with the discount, I think. But yeah, if you see it out there, or if this is kind of a game you might be interested in, check it out. Well, it's getting great reviews. Like that's the only reason I didn't know anything about this fucking game until I saw like the day before it came out. A bunch of reviews dropped. Like Easy Allies gave it an 8. I think IGN gave it a 9. I want to say. Like it's reviewing really really well. So it's a lot of fucking fun. But so far my game of the year for 2020, Gables.
Nice.
Let's see if it sticks to that. We'll find out. Oh, dude, Doom comes out 2 weeks from the day.
I know, right?
Oh, I just realized that. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh,
that's
we're
some
so
realization
close,
that you know that a game you really wanted to play is coming out soon.
Oh my god. Oh man, I feel like a fucking flu coming about 2 weeks from now. I might not be able to go to work for a while. So. Oh, man. I'm actually just getting over a flu, so if you hear me coughing or sniffling, I apologize. My girlfriend and I both been sick all week. It's funny though, she's a bartender, and I was like, you should like start selling the coronavirus shot, and like you just you take Corona beer, pour in a shot glass, and cough on it, and, sell that. She didn't find it very funny. I thought it was funny. I told people at work, they all thought it was hilarious, so I think it's funny. Gables laughed. So
I think that's pretty funny though. But
yeah. I'm like, do it, like, try to. But I don't know. Maybe people would be upset. She probably get in trouble at work. She told everybody, all her customers, she's sick. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing the last couple weeks. What about you, Gables?
All right. So to start things off, I finished off that game Night Slashers for the Switch. It was that game that was by Data East and stuff. I just decided to play through the game once again with the last character. His name is Christopher, and he's like a vampire hunter. So it's like pretty obvious, sort of like the 10 from, like, say, Castlevania and this and that. But what's interesting is it's still the same sort of beat-em-up type of style and stuff. What I kind of discovered, though, is you can actually do special, like, the special move, like, say, on the ground and even in the air. There's, like, 2 different types of special moves that the characters can actually use. But, no. What's interesting is, like, there are certain references, like moves and stuff that characters inside the game will do that are, like, references to professional wrestling. Like, what I mentioned before when I was talking about Night Slashers was facing off against this mummy, they'll actually go through and German suplex you. But what's interesting is the character Christopher actually has a couple wrestling moves of himself, like, of his own. I kind of found it funny that I'm beating up, like, zombies, and all of a sudden I discover his throw animation is a fucking DDT. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to use this throughout this entire playthrough. And so, quintessentially, I'm just going through, I'm beating up bosses, right? And I'm finding, and here, I encounter a freaking Dracula. I've encountered the fucking Dracula, like, right in the middle of the game. And during this boss battle, I go through this fighting combination, right? And then I grab him, and then I go through it, I give him the fucking even flow DDT, and it felt amazing. It actually felt amazing. Because it's like, at this point, it was like an average sort of beat 'em up game. And quite honestly, I feel like Night Slashers would have been like a fun arcade game back in the day. Incredibly frustrating because of how many quarters you actually have to fucking use because of how the game's programmed. But at the same time, I love the idea that I have characters that perform wrestling moves, like say like suplexes and like freaking DDTs. Like that made my day. That actually made my night when I was trying to play through that last bit and stuff. Where it's like I go through, do my random combinations, blood and guts are spreading everywhere because of the freaking zombies and all of this and that. But at the same time, going through boss battles, even the final boss, this monstrosity of a abomination or something that's mixed up with a freaking alien or whatever the hell the thing is, and then just go through spec with the fucking DDT. I mean, here I am, like facing off against these otherworldly type of apparitions, and here, and all the while, I'm dressed up in my freaking suit like a freaking vampire hunter, and I'm just grabbing fools. I am locking them into a front headlock, and I am just giving them the biggest fucking DDT of their lives. Oh my god. And honestly, that was probably my biggest highlight, just playing Night Slashers. Other than that, the game in and of itself, the beat 'em up, it's just basically kind of like it's basically just a few playthroughs and you're done, sort of like affair. So it's like I played through maybe about an hour or two of this game at most. And otherwise, I think it's fun, maybe to go back to and from and stuff like that, but that was just my fun that I found out of it. But there were a couple other games that I did play. Well, for example, I am still slowly playing through Hollow Knight bit by bit. I actually went through this sort of like fungal forest where you go to a specific area, right, and you see all these mushroom creatures, and these mushroom creatures, they're kind of varied to where there's some that'll just rush at you just like fast and this and that, and there's some that just kind of like they'll shoot spores and everything else at you, hurt you and stuff. Then I came across like one of those little mini bosses in this area where here's this gigantic mushroom, right, and he is taking just these multiple hits. He's just tossing all sorts of various crap at you, and all of a sudden it's like I think I may have died in that area maybe once. I'm not 100% sure, but once you clear out like bosses and mini bosses, you can they won't respawn back until maybe you go through and start resting on the benches, because that's the game save points. You rest on benches. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just basically was me just trying to get back my bearings because I'm not playing it for so long, like a few weeks. Yeah. And yeah, it still is relatively fun still. I mean, I'm still progressing a bit through it at the same point, but I've played roughly like around 10 hours of Hollow Knight so far, and I'm seriously just thinking about like seeing where I'm going to be going with this game, because it's the type of game that I like, and I just need to get more into it. It just needs to get more of that spark that's just going to keep me coming back, It's that sort of like time when you play a game, you really like the game, but because you don't know too much about it or where you need to explore and stuff, you don't really get a whole lot of the sense of wanting to play it immediately. If that sort of makes sense.
No, that's. I mean, I get that because that's. I played it when it first came out. What was it, like about a year or so ago? Yeah. And that was kind of like at first, I was like, oh, I really like this game. Like, I'm not even a big fan of like Metrovanias and stuff like that. Right. But I'm like, oh, I like this game. I like the atmosphere. It's really cool. The art style is fucking awesome. Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of what made me fall off of it. Where it's like, I felt like I was I just did all this time exploring, but I wasn't like really getting anywhere. It's like I'd find this new area and it'd loop me back to an area I've been to before, and it's just like, oh, like I didn't find it was cool like those moments when you found a boss fight or you found some cool shit, but it's like I think that was my problem. Was like there was too much of that game where I'm just like walking or like in circles, and like I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing exactly. It's like I was like that was my falling off point with that game. Was like I put like I would say like 5-6 hours in that game, and that was just where I spent half of that game walking in a circle. It was just like, all right, I'm not enjoying a decent chunk. Like the moments that you found were awesome. It's just like they weren't often enough for me to like keep investing time into that game.
Well, the biggest part about the Hollow Knight is going through and discovering different characters inside the game. Like,
Yeah.
the character that I did discover while going through my latest excursion was a kind of a praying mantis. Kind of he looks kind of a little bit blind or something. He's called Leg Eater, and he has all these like these false he has a couple type of badges that you can go through and collect. You know, where it's like you have like false strength and false like health and this and that. You know, just basically kind of give you the false sense of like having like being stronger than you are or having more health than you should and like this and that. So at least when it comes to Hollow Knight right at the moment, I still have been encountering some interesting characters, and I know there's some hidden ones that are not fairly obvious. Still I need to go through, but it's still something I'm going to go back to. But the next game that I kind of want to just say a little bit about is I actually downloaded Shadow of the Colossus, a free game for PSN last night. And I've beaten the first 2 Colossi. And what's interesting to note is like when I went through when I was playing the game initially for the first time in a long time, I had a little bit of trouble finding the first boss, and that's because when I went to the center where you get the prompt and stuff where it should tell you that you should be going through and climbing on the freaking weeds and stuff like that in order to get up to the first part of the platform and stuff. Yeah, I kind of went around and just kind of screwed around a little bit and stuff, so I didn't really get to the first boss battle until like about 10 or 20 minutes because I was just so busy admiring the scenery. But, no, the first and second bosses weren't really that much trouble at all. But what I kind of had difficulty with is I finally came up to the third boss. It was just on this big old gigantic like plate or something overlooking a lake. And what's kind of hilarious about it is it's the boss where you have to climb up his weapon in order to get to his armor. Because his armor is supposed to be breakable. So here I am just hanging upon his armor, and I have completely forgot how the hell I'm supposed to beat this thing. So I kind of ended my night last night where I spent a good hour playing Shadow of the Colossus, went through 2 of the Colossi, and, well, you know what? I'm just playing the game as I go. I still am interested in just going through and just beating a couple more of the Colossi, and honestly, I'll say a little bit more and stuff if I go through and keep on continuing playing it.
Yeah.
Because it's this Shadow of the Colossus is just one of the many games where I've played off and on and stuff throughout the years where I'll play it for like a couple of, maybe a couple hours here and there, maybe get halfway through the game, and then all of a sudden I just randomly stop because I find something else to play. But the other game that I want to touch upon fairly quickly, though, was I started playing Dead by Daylight again, very much kind of heavily. Since I got my new PC, I've just decided to go through and just play a little bit more of it because I wanted to have that consistent game that I liked playing, like maybe like an hour or so a day that I like, you know, just I can easily come back to every day, maybe get a couple dailies done and stuff. Dead by Daylight is just that type of game where I feel more comfortable to do that type of stuff. But what's kind of interesting is I've already maxed out like one of my characters, and I'm seriously like about 9 levels away from maxing out my second. And this is before doing a prestige, which has you reset like a whole bunch of the stats and like perks and stuff that you had while earning like stuff with your character the first time to get like better abilities and better perks in order to build for your survivor. But no, what's interesting is the matches that I've been going through over the past few weeks. Oh, during last weekend, I came across maybe 4 different matches where the killer didn't do absolutely anything. He just basically just stood there while everyone else was just like getting gens done and this and that. And I kind of suspected that there are a lot of groups playing together where one's playing as the killer and his friend and stuff's playing a survivor, and they're just basically just screwing around trying to farm for blood points and this and that. And, you know, you get that, you know? It's like there are a couple of different types of matches you'll encounter while playing Dead by Daylight online. One, you'll have people that'll go through and farm for points, for blood points, you know? Then you'll have the stereotypical maybe toxic killer or something like that that'll just constantly just try to tunnel you by putting you on the hook and just pretty much going back and forth, just making sure no other survivor tries to get you off the hook. But, no, one of my favorite like matches over the past week was when I got all the generators done with my team. The killer initially finds me, right? Strikes me down, carries me, right? And my team had just gotten the door open, like the emergency door open. Yeah. And I was on my my last life here before I pretty much died or something like that. Say if I were to get hung on the hook again, I would have instantly died, because depending upon how much health your survivor has, if he has a full thing of health, he or she has a full thing of health, you can get hung maybe like twice, but if your teammates wait too long before unhooking you, and you go past like that midpoint and stuff of your health bar, and it starts depleting to like maybe a quarter, you're dead like after being hung twice instead of 3 times. But case in point, what brings me back to this match in particular was we did all this various good job and stuff. Like, my teammates just did this and that, and all of a sudden I get struck down like right at the last thing. I'm hanging. The killer has me in his arms, right? And what's hilarious is he's going to take me to the closest hook. Well, unbeknownst to me, one of my teammates goes through, and my team is just basically sabotaging hooks. So in the game, you can actually use toolboxes and stuff to help sabotage hooks. And once you do that, the killer has to go to another hook. And so right as soon as he tried to hang me up, my teammate just instantly just go through, just like disable, just broke the hook. And all of a sudden, the dude that's carrying me is like, oh no, he has to try to go this, and finally I get free and I escape out the freaking door.
Nice.
It's just moments like that where you'll just have instant gratification, especially if you learn how to play like a little bit more cautious. I'm pretty rash when I play that game, honestly, and I get a whole bunch of bad RNG stuff, just bad random stuff. But the last match I just want to touch upon was it was not a good team match and stuff. My team pretty much kept getting found by the killer, kept getting like hit and like hung on the hook and stuff. And we basically got it through to where there was like maybe 2 generators left. But the problem was, I was just watching as my teammate gets struck down right. He gets hung on the hook, and while he's doing that and stuff, I discovered the hatch, where when all the other survivors are dead and you're the only one, there has an option to where you have a hatch that pops up randomly in the middle of the map. And so what ends up happening, I end up finding the hatch before my teammate gets hung on the hook. I stuck around the hatch, and I see the killer hang him on the hook, and sure enough, it was the last time where his character actually died. And what's hilarious is the hatch opens right, and the killer knows exactly where the hatch is at, because a lot of these guys have played the game so much, they know exactly where these freaking hatches at. And so because my character has this perk called self-care, to where I can automatically heal myself from being hit previously by the killer, I'm at full health. So I go to the front of the hatch. The killer, like, pretty much cuts me off, right? Hits me. I go around him, like, across, like, around this rock, this big old rock that's, like, right, out of his reach. I come behind the hatch. The hatch is open the opposite direction, right? So you would kind of figure that door would kind of obstruct you from the prompt. No, I basically pressed the thing and I escaped out the hatch. And I kind of, like, prevented him from getting the last kill.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much Dead by Daylight update for 2020 so far. But I'm looking forward to the whole, like, new DLC that's supposed to be releasing pretty relatively soon. It's like Chains of Destruction or something like that. It's got like a couple of new things added to it, like a new killer that's sort of like an outlaw and stuff that shoots a gun and stuff that has a grappling hook at the end, and there's like another. There's like a Wild West like stage and stuff, and then there's a new survivor and new perks along with that. But if I try it out, I'll say stuff in the future. But the last thing I wanted just to talk about, I played through the Final Fantasy VII demo.
Oh yeah, I downloaded it. I had to play it.
I won't spoil exactly how much they've went through and actually changed and stuff, but I will say this. I loved playing the demo. I love the combat. It feels... The new combat where they have for, like, normal... Well, here's the thing. Before you even start playing the demo and stuff, it gives you the option. You want to play it on easy, you want to play it on normal, or you want to play it on classic mode. You know, which classic, I assume, is like the whole turn-based sort of style with random battles and stuff.
Yeah.
But I decided to play on normal. I'll tell you what, I love the witty banner between, like, the characters. I love a bit of the combat stuff, and I love how good you can actually switch characters on the fly. It's so easy. It's like you actually press down the D-pad and stuff to switch between different characters. It's that seamless, and then you go through and you can target specific specific enemies and stuff, and you could just button mash certain things, as like Cloud and stuff, and a lot of the limit break stuff feels fun. Actually, I actually enjoyed myself quite a bit. The demo itself doesn't last too long, but at the same time, it was still a fun experience, and it makes me look forward to playing the game next month.
Yeah, that's cool then. Yeah, I want to check it out. I've heard a lot of people raving about it, so people that I wouldn't even expect. Like, what got me interested was, like, I'm hearing people that don't even, like, showed zero interest in Final Fantasy 7 or don't typically, like, show interest. Like, they're like, it's a great demo. So I don't know if it's a game I'm going to buy, but I at least want to check out the demo. So
right.
Yeah.
But other than
no, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, but man, it's like, other than that though, I didn't play anything else. That was just it.
Cool. Yeah, I am excited though. At the end of the month, I think it's like the 24th to the 27th. That Predator game that's coming out next month in April. They're doing a free like beta for it for everybody. Yeah, so I'm definitely like, that weekend. I want to fucking. I don't know when it is. I think it's the 24th. I want to say, but I definitely want to check it out because that game looks like it's gonna be nice. I pre-ordered it, so this is also a nice little demo for me. So it's like, if I don't like it, I can just cancel it. So
true.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up the show for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we are on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify. Go to just search Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast, and you'll see us there, iTunes as well. Give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, leave a comment, review, follow, like, subscribe, heart, whatever you do in all those places, those platforms. Please do whatever you can to support us. We really appreciate if you get to do all that. The more you guys do that, more likely as other people can see us too. So yeah, thank you guys so much once again for listening. I was your host, I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to a fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Excuse me. Few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.